Welcome to Latinos in Michigan. I'm your host, Liliana Ospina Herstred. Last week, the community in Indiana heard about a terrible tragedy in Elkhart. It's the tragedy of the family of Romeo Pineda. Romeo was a 4-year-old boy. He lived in Elkhart, Indiana, and he died due to his terrible injuries. He could not recover. Christian Maradiaga, a 19-year-old man from Elkhart, is in jail. He is the main suspect in this case, and Christian Maradiaga is facing murder charges and neglect of a dependent, resulting in death. Romeo's funeral is tomorrow. This is a terrible time for this Hispanic family. And it's a family that I know for years. This family used to live in Sturgis, where I used to work a long time ago. And Romeo's mother, Karen, wanted to talk to me about what happened to her son. So this terrible tragedy won't happen to any mother. Karen, thank you for giving us this interview, and please tell the community about what happened.
So on June 9th, um, I think it was on a Thursday. I was at work. I worked third shift. I've been working there for a couple months, and I've been with Christian for 2 years. I have a baby, a mutual baby with him who's 7 months, and I got a call from a mutual friend that from me and from a third person, and she told me that I had to call Mallory Vasquez like right now, that it was an emergency. And like, cause I hadn't talked to them in like years because we had conflict because of Christian, cause like they would always be on his side because they wouldn't believe me, cause I tried to get help from like multiple people. I tried getting help from my mom and like from um from them, that he would put his hands on me and nobody would believe me. So when I got that call, they're like, you need to calm down, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? And that's when they told me, they're like, you have to go home like right now. Uh, Christian hit your baby, and he's not. I guess he's not waking up. And a lot of people are asking like, why didn't you call 911 then and there? But honestly, my first reaction was I have to get to my babies. So like, I instantly left work. Like I was about to get on lunch break. It was like 12, and I instantly left work, and I got there, and I opened the door, and like when I opened the door, like he like came up to me. He was like, baby, something's wrong with Romeo. He's not waking up. And like I already knew what happened, so like I pushed him out the way, and I saw my son, and I couldn't carry him because he's heavy. I'm 5 foot, like, and my son's like almost as tall as me. And I tried taking him to the hospital, and he wouldn't let me. I tried calling 911, and he took my phone away. And I even tried to get out my apartment and have one of the neighbors call 911, but he like grabbed my arm, and he held me against the wall so that I wouldn't leave the apartment, so that I could get help from my son. And then I went to the kitchen, and I was gonna hit him back, so that I could get out of there to help my son. And that's when his friend, who he called and told everything to, got there. And like he was like, Christian, he started saying it's not. He's like, I trusted you. Like, why would you tell her? Like, and then he said, the his friend said she had to know, like, the baby's unconscious. Then he's like, you need to chill out. And then he asked him, where's Romeo? And I told him he's in the room. And when he saw him, he's like, we have to take him to the hospital like right now. He's having a seizure. And he took him, and like Christian still didn't want to let me go, because my baby, my 7-month-old, was crying when I got there. Like he was crying, like screaming, and he didn't want to let me go. And then his friend told him, he's like, I don't care what you say, she's gonna come with me. And like I hurry up and put my other baby in the car seat. He didn't even have pants on or nothing. Like everything was just so fast. Everything happened so fast, and um, I didn't even know he did drugs. To be honest, he never did that around me. I didn't know he felt some type of way towards my son. Like when he would be around me, he was a different person. I literally texted him on my first break, like telling him like we were on good terms, you know. Like I was even telling him like we should go kayaking this weekend and stuff. Like making plans with our like with my sons and him. And was it? That's why when all this happened, like I was in shock because I didn't even know he had a problem with my baby. And when I get like the friend took Romeo in his car, and I took Nikolai. That's my youngest son's name in my car, and I was following them right behind them. And that on my way to the hospital, like as soon as I was leaving, like for the drive through, like the driveway, I mean, for my apartment complex, that's when I was calling 911 because he didn't let me call 911 at my house. And I told him everything, and I told him that he was still at the apartment, but he had already fled by the time they got there. And when I got to the hospital, I was kind of like hoping, like, I hope they're like, he's back, he's conscious now, you know? But they told me that, like, he was already on life support when I got there. And they told me that he had blood in his brain, that I should prepare for the worst than for the best right now. So, like, when that happened, I just felt like I don't even know how to explain the feeling, but um, like all I remember was having to repeat everything that happened to like multiple detectives. Um, and then I had to stay. I couldn't even go with my son right away to because they transferred him to Memorial Hospital. I couldn't even go right away with him to Memorial because they had to check Nikolai to make sure that he wasn't hurt or anything. Thank God he wasn't hurt. He was perfect. He was fine. So it took me like 2 to 3 hours to get to my son in South Bend. And when I got there, like when I got there again, I was hoping like my son's stabilized now, you know? Like they're gonna give me good news. But when I got there, the nurse she pulled me. She was like, "I need to talk to you in private." So she pulled me into a room where it was just me and her, and she was like, I need to prepare you. What you're going to see is gonna hurt you." And she told me, she was like, "Romeo is on life support right now, and the damages that that man did to him are irreversible. They're not like they're irreversible. They're not like there's no coming back from it." And like I was confused, and so I went to the room and I see my son, and like I instantly start crying. You know, I start screaming. Like that's when the doctor came in, and and like the nurses come in, and they told me and his dad like they wanted to talk to us, and he told me that my son was already brain dead. That he was already dead by the time we even got to the first hospital. Like he was already gone. Like he was already brain dead. Like my son was already gone. Like there was no matter what anybody would have done, nothing would have saved him because that was irreversible because it was all like in the stem of his brain. Every like what controls your breathing, your like you know. So at that point, I was just like, damn. Like I kept telling them like to stop because they kept repeating it. Like all the doctors kept repeating that he's not coming back. And I remember telling them, I kept telling his dad, tell him to stop saying that. tell him to do more. We even ran even more tests to make sure that that he really wasn't gonna come back. It wasn't until June 9th, June no not June 9th, June 11th at 11:40 a.m. that they declared him dead. And and it's crazy because on the way, when all that went down, he told his mom, and his mom was blowing up my phone, and she even had the audacity to text me saying not to call the cops.
Oh my God.
That if I don't want to be with that, if we're not working out, to just leave him. That that as a mother I should understand.
Oh my God.
Like, and right now his whole family, they're going on Facebook making it seem like he's the victim, saying that I would beat on him. Like,
So how did the police arrest this guy? Because he obviously this is child abuse. I mean, how you said that he escaped, he ran
yeah,
away. How the police?
he fleed. And I'm not sure how he got caught. I honestly didn't ask questions because I don't even care about him. I don't even want to know about him. I don't know. I don't really care. Like, if I ever do ask a question about him, it's like how the case is going and stuff. And from my understanding, I guess his dad turned him in, but I don't know.
And you never, Karen, you never suspected that he was a child
It's
abuser. He
no,
never.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There was times where he and I had problems, and he would abuse me sometimes, but he hadn't done it in the longest. Like, all my doors are broken because I would always lock myself in the rooms, and he broke all the doors. And by the time he would break all the doors, he wouldn't put his hands on me no more. He wouldn't put his hands on me, and
Uh,
I just wouldn't have thought he would have done it to my son just because they had a bond together. If you would see the pictures and the videos I have of them together, he literally taught my son how to ride a bike. My son would call him dad. He
oh,
would always tell me that he wanted to adopt Romeo, for him to be legally his and stuff. Like, he wanted us to get married and stuff. Like, I had already tried to leave him multiple accounts, and he would um he would manipulate me. He would manipulate me, and I knew he knew what he was doing because he knew what he would do was wrong because he cheated on me a lot when I was carrying our baby, and I wanted to leave him. Like, I don't want to be with somebody like that, and I tried to leave him on January 22nd, and he cut his face. Had to get 5 stitches, so I wouldn't leave him. But he knew what he was doing. I knew he wasn't crazy. I could tell you that he was. He's
oh,
right now. He's pleading for insanity. He's not
oh my
insane.
God. Well, what you describe is an abusive relationship. Was when you were dating him, was he abusive or he
No,
became abusive?
he became abusive once I tried to leave him. He didn't want that no for an answer. You know. And I, like I
That's
said, like I said, I tried telling people what was going on in my life, and nobody would believe me. Nobody would be on my side. I really tried.
I'm so sorry, Karen. I'm so sorry. What could you tell the community? A lot of community in Sturgis. You live in Elkhart, but I know you from Sturgis because I know your mom. For over a decade. I know your mom. What could you tell the community? Because you're saying basically when I spoke to your mom and when I spoke to your sister, they wanted to just to clear everything because you know uh, your baby is gone and you just want justice.
Yeah. Um. What I can say is don't 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 let any. any red flag go, just because you love a person, just because you have a baby together, just because you don't want anything to have, like, because when he would like when he would manipulate me, all I would think is if he like does something to himself, like to hurt himself enough, like, for him to like get hurt, like, I don't want that to be in my conscience, I don't want it to be my fault, or have his family be like, it's your fault, he did this. Ignore it. Always put yourself first. um Especially, don't ever expect something, like, don't ever expect the worst from a stranger, because it's always going to be somebody who's close to you. It's always going to be somebody who's close to you. It's not going to be just a stranger.
And I saw that it's a GoFundMe campaign because you guys need help with the funeral expenses, correct? Because many people are gonna be like contacting me after this interview to see how can they help you. So
Yeah.
can,
The detectives told, because it had a lot of detail. The detectives said that we had to take it down, because I don't know what, my son's story went viral. More than $17,000, I think. 17,000 of people shared it, the post, because the original, like, the friend, he posted about it, and the detectives made him take that down. Um,
I'm so sorry, Karen. I
and a
mean,
lot of people, they think that I knew he did drugs, but truth be told, I don't do drugs. I don't know what a person looks like when they're off drugs. On our days off, like, he would know that I would know when he would lie to me. So he had to. He's not dumb. I could tell you that he's not dumb. He's sneaky. I know for a fact he did not do those drugs around me.
did he work or were you the only one that worked at the home?
He would work, but and I would always tell him, because I went to work as soon as I had a month, right after I had my baby, our baby, mine and his. And he would work, but he would lie. He would say that he would only be grossing $600. And me being me, like, that our rent wasn't even $600. Like, and I don't get food assistance. I don't get like help from the government like that. Um, so me being me, all I thought about was my kids. Like, I want to give them what I couldn't have growing up. So I went to work third shift, because I that's third shift's always the one that pays the most money. Third shift is always the shift that pays the most money. So I was like, yeah, I'll just work third shift, um, so that I can make money. But come to find out, he was grossing more than $1,400. So I'm guessing the rest of that money was all towards drugs.
Hmm. I'm so sorry.
And I didn't know any of that. I didn't even know. I'm telling you, I didn't even know he did drugs. Like, I know he had anger issues, but I didn't know it was because he was going through withdrawals. Because he had always been like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. But I
Well,
really did not know. Because had I known, like I said before, I would have called the cops on him by then. Because that drug that he was doing is illegal. Like,
I'm
I would have
sorry.
already called the cops. And none of this would have happened. But because I didn't know anything, but because, like, before I left to work that day, still, I had served them to eat, and they were watching a movie together. Like, they were watching a movie together, him and my sons. Like, that's why I don't understand how this is all happening. Like, I don't understand it.
Karen, I'm sorry. I mean, I had no words because what you're going through is the worst nightmare for any mother, for any person who has children.
Karen, thank you for this interview. And friends, don't forget to share this video and like our Facebook page, Latinos in Michigan TV. See you next time.